Hi, I am Mandy of Mad Cow Mandy Designs. It is June 9th, 2022, and this is episode 20. So today I have knitting and knitting only to share with you, but there are a lot of finished objects. So if you have your drink, you have your knitting, you're ready, let's get started. We will start with what I'm wearing. I finished my tank top. So I am going to insert a video because this space with the chair is a little too tight for me to stand up. This is the Sea Glass tank top by Megan of Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits. I am going to have her tag down below because she sits and knits on Instagram, and I think Bad Wolf Girl Designs on Ravelry. And then Studio, when she dyes yarn, it gets a little... I have the links down below. I am very happy with how it turned out. It's so soft. We'll get to that part. But this right through here came out just a smidge bit big for my liking. I have very narrow shoulders. Straps and things tend to fall off, so I usually only wear Razorback, and this has a little bit of that shaping to it, so it's not going to fall off, but it is just a little bit big. I did a gauge swatch and it came out correct. I'm not the most reliable person to actually knit gauge swatches, but I did. It came out correct. I knitted the tank top, and then I blocked it last night and it grew, because that's what it does. Like, that's what yarn does. Yeah. So now it's bigger. I rechecked my gauge on it and it's a little bit bigger than it's supposed to be. I think I'm definitely making another one of these, and I think I'm just going to go down a size. So I knit the extra large, which is a 46 bust, and I'm like a 45. So that was pretty close, but then it grew in blocking. So I think I'm going to go down to a large next time and see how that fits. Yeah, I used Southern Skeins yarn. This was a deluxe box that I got from her back in April. No, I think this was February maybe. I can't remember what month this was now. But the deluxe box, I received two skeins, or two sock sets. So I had two minis, which would be 40 grams of this, which is Reflecting Pool. And then I had two full skeins of this color, Garden Party. So I used 39 grams of the dark blue, and I weighed it and I forgot how much I had. I think I have about 20 grams left out of 200 for the main color. Not bad. I was just kind of winging it. It's what I do. But it turned out pretty well. And it's so soft. Oh, it's so soft and cuddly, and I keep petting it because it's so very soft. And I am going to insert a photo of the lacework around the bottom because it doesn't have ribbing across the bottom. It has lacework, which makes it all lay flat, and oh, it's so pretty. I will definitely be making this again. I'm going to have fall colors and Christmas colors and spring colors, and who knows how many of these tank tops I'm going to make because it's great. The pattern was very well written. It looked really awkward when you start. If any of y'all saw the Instagram photos that I had posted, because you start with your back panel across the top and then you make the straps, so it turns into this creepy crawly looking thing, and then you join in the round and finish it as a solid tank top, and it just looked a little weird, but it was very easy to understand and follow as I worked my way through the pattern. Definitely recommend. Like I said, all the links are down below, including Southern Skeins link, and I think that was everything I was going to say about this tank top. I love it. I'm so excited. I blocked it yesterday, so today is my first day wearing it, and yeah. Oh, it's great. It's so soft. I just hope I don't get pizza on it during lunch today. Alright, next up. Where are we going? Where are we going? Let's go over here. I finished my Rainbow Connection socks. Oh, they're so pretty. They do not match, like line up striping wise. I don't care. If that bothers you, I'm sorry, because there's going to be a lot of that on this channel. I don't match my colors. I just don't care enough for that. So this is Crazy Sock Lady's pattern called Rainbow Connection, and the yarn is what was called for in the pattern, which is Desert Vista Dyeworks Summer Rainbow. You get 250 skeins, 50-gram skeins, there we go, one black, one rainbow, and it is color work. And it's my favorite kind of color work. It's not stranded color work. So you'll work 2 rounds of the black, 2 rounds of the color, 2 rounds of the black. Like, you're only working with one color at a time, which makes it really nice. I'm not going to give away too much because it is a paid pattern, but it's a slip stitch pattern, which tends to get a little bit tight, and that is why the design is not on the back of the leg. She designed it so that it would still have enough stretch and be able to fit. So I did my standard size. I always do a 56 stitch, and that is what I did for this. It fits perfectly. So that is wonderful. And yes, I've already entered it into the wild card cabin on Ravelry. And I got a double entry because I used one of Kay's patterns. If you're not following that, it's Summer Sock Camp is happening right now, and you can enter finished objects on Ravelry for drawings later. Wild card cabin, because I use Hiya flyers. That is my weapon of choice, and that puts me in the cabin. Next up, oh, good Lord, they're so bright. These are my Pretty Twisted Yarn, Pretty Twisted Yarns, Be a Frickin' Unicorn. This is the first month of her Super Secret Society of Self-Striping Sock Knitters. It is a self-striping yarn mystery box that you can get. This is the very first month of it. It's so pretty. And I use the Andalusian stitch. About to drop it on the floor. So you can kind of see it has little ridges going through here. It's just stockinette. Every third round you do a 1x1 ribbing. That's the Andalusian stitch. I didn't have a pattern. I learned the stitch from our blanket at the Zoom Knit Nights, and applied it to a sock. Turned out really good, and I will do this again. And when I do, I'm only going to do the stitch on color changes. So like right here, instead of being every third row and it just landing randomly, I like it to be on the color change. So I'm going to give that a whirl and see how it turns out at some point. These are also entered into the wild card cabin. Whoop, and they only get one entry because it's not Kay's pattern and it's not a yarn that is sold in her store. If you bought any yarn from her store this last 28th month, I'm not sure what the window is that she has open there for purchasing from her shop, but I think it's anything that you buy over the summer from her gets you a second entry into camp. So that is my finished objects. I don't know. It's 3 finished objects. I'm 2 socks and a tank top. Oh, I did mean to tell y'all that the tank top took me about a month. I started it May the 5th and I finished it June 7th. Yeah, June the 7th. So it took me right at a month to knit this, and 2 weeks it was probably the only project that I had going. So not bad. That brings us into works in progress. First up is my new camp bag from 3 by the Sea. And inside I have my spring socks. So, not a whole lot going on yet. I do have my logo stitch marker from Kay for camp this year. That was one of my pieces of mail over the last week. Let's see, this is all from Southern Skeins. The mini is Easter Grass, and this is Spring Chick. This is April. Yes, this is April's mystery box that I received, and that means that I have no idea what month this was. I got lost somewhere. But there is that, and here's what the cake kind of looks like. It's working up very nicely. I am doing a vanilla pattern, and this is going to be for my neighbor, so that should check off that goal for camp. This will be for my neighbor across the street who has been oh so kind to us over the last 2 years. Next up, my Beetlejuice bag from Fate's Thread is housing more pretty twisted yarns. I can't help it. When I think about Teresa, I think about spooky and Halloweeny and Beetlejuice. I did purchase her Beetlejuice sock yarn. I think it was called There's a Beetle in My Juice, and I knit those up last Halloween, so I just think about her. This is yarn that I recently got. It is the June colorway for her club, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know what to say to you because you should have seen it by now. It is called Laser Light Show. Dear Lord, I can see it on the camera. Look at all that sparkle. Oh, okay. So, this is, I did buy the sock set. It came with this bright turquoise mini and this beautiful, oh so beautiful. I did split it in half with Pam, so she is also knitting these socks. I am doing a vanilla pattern, and I want y'all to see this. I did just a little bit of yarn management. So I couldn't remember the color repeat from when I kicked it up, and ends up that I just happened to start pretty close to the beginning of the color repeat, and I do 4 inches and start my heel. Y'all, 4 inches was where the next color repeat started. So now I have this cute rainbow heel. Look at this thing. And I just did a little bit of color management because there's no pink. It ends with the orange instead of the pink. And I just didn't want one pink stripe going over the top of it. That seemed kind of goofy to me. So I pulled over to the black section and started knitting, and what I pulled off, I just kind of saved. It'll go into my magic knot ball, something like that. It won't be wasted. I am trying to remember what this base is made of, and I can't remember. I know it's extra fine merino and nylon, and then it has Lurex in it. That's what makes that sparkle. Lurex. So it's kind of like Stellina on steroids. Oh my god, that is just, oh, it's so bright and pretty. So this is my first one. Still working. I have no idea if my second sock is going to match. I don't know where I'm going to end, and I don't know. When I get done with this, I'll see where I am on the cake and how much this weighs, and I might have matching socks. I might be starting with black. I have no idea, but this right here is making me very happy. This is my little campfire stitch marker from Bronze Shepherd Studios. So cute. All decked out for camping this summer. Okay, and that is all of my works in progress, but I have to turn to page 2 in my notes because that's how many notes I had today. I have 2 pages worth. Okay. Mail! So you saw the pretty twisted yarns that I received in the mail and the stitch marker from Crazy Sock Lady. I also got my camp pins in. So this is this year's logo, and she made logos for each of the cabins, so I had to get that, and I went ahead and stuck last year's on here as well. So this is my camping bag. It's the s'mores and all my little pins. It's my camping bag. The last piece of mail that I got this past week, is my Fangirl Fibers Gilmore Girl collection. This is the last one that I will receive because, well, choices had to be made. I can't knit fast enough to receive 3 yarn clubs. Like, that's a little much. So I will continue getting Southern Skeins and Pretty Twisted Yarns, and this will be my last of the Fangirl Fibers. It's been nice and I've enjoyed it. Great yarn. Yeah. Choices. It was hard. So this is May's, and it's called The Amazing Doggy Swami. So if you remember Paul Anka the dog, when he was telling fortunes. Oh, it is beautiful. This is absolutely a great color to end on. I am so happy with this and cannot wait to knit this one up. I have not put it in the camping suitcase yet because I don't know if I want to make that commitment to having it done during camp. I really need to. Otherwise it might not get done. I'm going to put this in the suitcase. decision made. I'm putting this in the camping suitcase. So it has to turn into socks by the end of camp. I am going to try and put up a graphic for y'all that shares where I am on my camp goals. Because I have finished, I checked off the Andalusian stitch that I wanted to do and the rainbow connection pattern that I wanted to make. And 2 out of 10 pairs of the adult socks that I wanted to make. Now I am working on 2 more that will count as adult knits, but only one will go as another item on my goals list, which is the socks for my neighbor. So, now for a somewhat new segment, the second podcast of every month is Throwback episode. I've been knitting for a long time, and I recently started podcasting. So I have a lot of stuff that y'all haven't seen, and I had it recommended that I should do throwbacks and show off an item every so often of something that I've made in the past. I'll admit I don't keep very good notes, but for this one, I had the notes for the most part. So, for this month's throwback, I have a shawl. Oh dear, that does not fit on the screen. So, this is Striped Candy Shawl by Meredith of A Lovely Blunder Knits. What she did is she created an Advent shawl, and it came out in conjunction with Southern Skeins Christmas Advent in 2020. I did not buy the Christmas Advent. I was a little mad at myself, so I bought it this year. But I used all scraps. This is all sock scraps, most of them being Southern Skeins. She probably recognizes a lot of them. So you start on this end. Like any good shawl, you start out with like 4 or 5 stitches, and it just grows and grows. It has a nice little border on it, and every stripe is a different texture. So I can't remember what they all are. There's hair in it. This one's a garter, and this one is something. I don't know what that is. There's a pearl ridge one. Some stockinette. This lovely texture. I mean, I just kind of go through and love to pet this because it has all those different textures in it. And this is the bind off edging. So you do end up with a lot of stitches on there by the end of it. But there are 27 stripes using 24 colors. I don't know how many colors I have in here because it seems like I had to repeat a color at some point. This is my absolute favorite go-to winter shawl to wear. I've been wearing it for the last 2 winters now. It's colorful and it's textured and fun, and I would say the perfect warmth for Louisiana. It very rarely gets cold here, so you can kind of stretch it out and get some air flow when it gets a little bit warm. You can scrunch it up when the wind blows and it's really, really cold. It's great. I love this. So down below I do have linked, wrong side, I do have linked this pattern on Ravelry as well as Meredith. So yeah, that is my throwback of the month. And it will go back in storage until winter because it is hot here. Alright, and that brings us to chatter. My goodness. We had the Peach Festival last weekend, and I was not working it, so I actually got to go as a customer and walk around and see all the vendors, and it was packed. Oh my god, they had so many vendors and so many customers. It was great. There were people in every single tent all day. One of my friends did work the event, and she said that it was a great day. I'm so happy for her, and it was very nice and relaxing to get to actually just go and be a customer. And a good customer I was. Insert photo. I'm actually going to look at this photo because otherwise I'll forget something. I have found a... let's see here. Let's first insert a photo of this stand that I purchased. I went to another event a while back, I guess it was last month maybe, and I bought this cute little wooden stand that holds all these little wooden signs, and you can interchange the wooden signs for different themes throughout the year. Okay, now to my purchase. I found that vendor. I knew that they were going to be there. I went and hunted them down, and I knew exactly what I wanted. I bought that big Mardi Gras collection that you see, and a birthday collection. So it has this big sign. It has like a big stand that'll go into it, and you can hang numbers off of it and things like that. And I think I'll make a little addition to where I can have the people's names. So it says, you know, happy birthday so-and-so on it. And then she made a peach collection. I asked her if she would make one, and she had the time. She made a peach collection, and she held on to it for me till I could get there. And oh my god, it is adorable. Again, we were at the Peach Festival. Like, peaches are a big deal here. So I also bought a bandana and a little bow for Pepper Ann, and then we went over to a local bookstore. It's books and records, and they had Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It is all 5 of the books plus an additional book. I don't know. I have never read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've heard wonderful things about it. My husband's read it. He liked it. He's like, buy the book. Buy the book, read the book. I was like, okay. Bought the book. It is next on my reading list. So I will be reading that, but I have to finish the book I'm currently working on. I was going to share that with y'all too. So I am working on Maggie Sefton's book, and this is called Double Knit Murders because they've mushed the first 2 books together. The first 2 are Knit 1, Kill 2, and Needled to Death. They're a knitting mystery murder book. Yes. I rented this one from the library, and I am slowly working my way through it. I'm not a real fast reader, and I'm still working on figuring out how to keep a book open while not using my hands so that my hands are free to knit. I can knit and watch TV all day long, but the TV stays where it's supposed to be. This likes to try and close on me, and then you gotta turn pages, and yeah. So I'm enjoying the book. It is a lady who Her aunt passes away, so she comes into town. There's a knitting shop that her aunt was very active in, and so she gets to know all the ladies there, and, well, you know, spoiler, she's gonna learn to knit. This is a 16 book series, I think. It's like 12 or 16 books in the series. So this is the first 2, and my library has something called Friends of the Library, and they are a group of people that do different fundraisers and activities for the library here in town. And one of their events is a book sale. So that corresponded with the Peach Fest weekend, and I went and I found one of the books. So this is Unraveled, and it is like book 10, I think, in the series. But I went ahead and picked it up because it was there, and it was like 25 cents. I don't know. So it did used to belong to the library. Oh, there we go. It used to belong to the library, and it no longer does. So, oh, good Lord, they were not kidding. It's large print. That is big. So, eventually I'll get around to this one. I'm going to read Hitchhiker first. But while I was at the sale, I happened across this book. So, A Stitch Before Dying. And I was like, that sounds knitty. And then I saw this yarn ball down here, and I was like, okay, so yeah, this is another knitting mystery murder. And then this was sitting right next to it. The Postman Always Purls Twice. Super excited. Never heard of this series. This is the Black Sheep Knitting Mystery. Never heard of it before. So the sale at the library lasted 2 days. I found these on the first day, as well as the other book, and I picked them up. And then I went back, because what happens is as the tables start emptying out and people buying books, they just come through with boxes and refill it. So there's a lot of turnover, and I was like, let's go back on the second day and see if we find anything else. And of course I did. Till Death Do Us Pearl. It's another one of the series. There's about 8 books in this series, and none of these are the first book. So I will keep an eye out, and as I come across more of the books, I will buy more of the books, and I'm just going to have a knitting murder mystery collection, which I think I frightened the guy at the checkout table because he did not realize that that was an entire genre until I showed up with a stack of murder-themed knitting books, knitting-themed murder books. I have no idea which order that would go in, but he was very surprised that that was a genre that people were into. Yeah, so that about wraps up everything we have going on here. It's been a lot of work. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate that. I love all the orders that y'all have placed and all the wonderful feedback that y'all have given. Y'all have given some wonderful reviews. Thank you very, very much for all of that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a possibly calm couple of days, work on some socks, and relax. So until next week, it has been so much fun talking to y'all, and enjoy your knitting. Have fun. I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye.